Hello and welcome to the SCLD Podcast. I am Erin Dodge. I have a lozenge in my mouth. So if I sound a little weird, that's what's happening. I'm here with the Library District and I'm here talking to Gwendolyn Haley today. She's our Public Services Manager, which means it's a kind of a fancy title for librarian in charge of other librarians.
Sure, I like that. And some other stuff.
And a lot of other stuff.
I do some things, I juggle a bit.
You juggle a lot of different roles. But we're here to talk about back to school resources.
Yes.
Because our kids are back in school.
Yes.
And sometimes they need a little help. And guess what? The library has free help.
We are here for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And boy, this is a transition time. I don't know, how did things go at your house? They went pretty well at ours. We just have one at home still.
We did well. We have two. And everything went pretty smooth. We kind of did how do I say this? Ahead of time, we walked my daughter's high school schedule because they had a conference and we were able to go, okay, where's your first class? Where's the best place for you to,
so you just transitioned to high school.
Well, yeah, she's been there a few years, but it's like there's 2 floors. Anyway.
That went by fast.
It went by really fast. And then my son is in 5th grade.
Okay.
And so I was hoping he'd be more excited this year. I think his teacher, he's a really, really great teacher this year. And he was just like, I was like, how's your first day? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's turning into that thing, that phase, right?
Right.
Where everything's just like, it's okay.
Yeah, I have one like that because I have a middle schooler at home. And it's interesting because that older elementary, like 4th, 5th, 6th grade, and then middle school, high school, things change for our students. And they actually have more homework. They have different kinds of homework.
Yes.
That's when they start doing some things like research and things like that.
Yes.
4th grade is where there's something that happens. There's a shift where we say they stop learning to read and start reading to learn. And that's really where I think the library tools and resources kind of become super, super essential for kiddos because we shift from the library is a great source for your younger kids of being able to access a lot of books and things so they can practice reading at home.
Right.
We have some really great online tools like Tumble Books, which it's an animated picture book read along. So for those of us who grew up watching, Reading Rainbow, it's like that, sort of without LeVar Burton, but
That's the main.
But it's really nice because your kids can kind of watch and then it's a read along and it's a little bit of supported reading of text, which is a nice tool for them. But then as they start into like 4th, 5th, 6th grade, sometime in 6th grade is when a lot of kids are. 5th and 6th grade is that kind of a ancient worlds report where they're doing like ancient civilizations like ancient Egypt and ancient China and the Greeks and the Romans, and we have a ton of resources about that, both in the library but also online. So one of my favorites for older elementary school students is something called World Book online, and I loved the encyclopedia when I was a kid. I could sit and read. I was that kid. Like I would read it.
You had the actual set?
Oh, we had an actual set in our home, and I would sit and read and read things out loud to my mom. I loved it, and I loved being able. That's probably why I'm a librarian, because I love to look things up.
That's wonderful.
But World Book Online takes everything we loved about the print version and then adds layers and layers and layers onto it.
I've gone in there. There's video. There's all kinds of cool things.
And it doesn't matter.
Great images.
So
like
great.
A book, you maybe get like one or a couple pages of images.
Right.
You can just see lots and lots.
Oh, and there's
of imagery.
videos, clips, and there's interactive maps and slideshows and things like that on any topic. And we have an elementary school version. We have a middle school and high school version, which is kind of nice. So depending on your child's reading level, but anything you're researching, it's still a really good place to start just to get some background information.
For sure.
And then online, it also there's a ton of other information and links out to other really good vetted resources that the folks who put World Book together have actually vetted and put together a very comprehensive package. So it's kind of an essential skill. And the great thing is you don't have to wait for the encyclopedia salesperson to come door to door.
Right.
Like we're living, 100 years ago. But
and you don't even have to come to the library.
No.
Because, you can come to the library and use our
computers. We encourage you
to
do so.
And all of that.
We do. But you can do it from home with your library card. And so I always tell people that if you don't have a library card, that is an essential back to school tool for your kiddos, because there's a ton of free research and tools available and helps and support.
And kids can get a library card at any age.
That is correct.
Like you can get your newborn a library card.
Yes. And I think everyone should.
And then, that library card, they'll get the access to the digital library, which is what we're talking about. We have resources there, like World Book. And so to get to that, you go to our website, scld.org, and then you either just click on digital library or you can /digital/library to get there. And now it could be a little overwhelming at first because we have like 60 plus resources in there, but we also have a little like on the side,
there's a drop-down
menu that'll kind of help you sort through it.
Yeah, and for kids and students, I recommend starting with the drop-down, the homework help option, because it brings up a lot of different things. Some of these databases we've mentioned to explore, and there's a description on our website of what each one does. So there's World Book, and then there's, Tumble Books and things like that. But also, one of the things that we provide access to for everyone in our community is something called Help Now. Which is put on by a company called Brain Fuse, and it is live homework help. It's available from 2 in the afternoon until 10 in the evening, and it is live. It's a chat interface with certified teachers through this company, and kids can get live homework help. So when your middle schooler starts to take algebra, and you have that moment of the last time I did algebra, like really like sat down and did algebra problems, not just algebraic thinking, but algebra problems.
I don't know.
And you need, it's been a minute for some of us.
It's been more than a minute.
And you need some help. And I remember one time with my oldest daughter, very clearly, I was helping her at the table, and she was working on a problem, and I was working on a problem, and I kid you not, we both came up with different answers, and we were like, well, I don't know who's right. My husband came home, he took one look at both of our papers and went, I don't know how you did it, but you're both wrong.
Oh no.
That was the moment where I said, let me get you logged on to homework help, because you need someone who can actually do some tutoring. And so the nice thing is you can actually write in the equation, and you're this chat interface with the certified teacher who specializes in math, if it's math that you happen to be needing help with. And so Liz was able to put her problem in, and then they kind of talked back and forth, and so she was able to demonstrate, here's what I think I should do, and then the tutor on the other end was able to say, okay, well, I see, here's where you're making your mistake right here, let's take another look and look at your, and so it was really nice because they're not telling her the answer, they're actually walking through the steps with her.
It's tutoring, not let me give you the answer.
And it's available from 2 until 10 every day for the live tutoring part. It's also great if you've got a paper that you're doing and you need to have someone proofread it. Which is really fantastic. You can also set up and make your own flashcards. There's a bunch of things available throughout and help on topics all 24 hours a day. The live tutoring is kind of time-stamped in that window for us, 2 to 10 after school. But then you also can go in and find resources and worksheets and some practice and set up. You can even set up your own flashcards. So if you're in high school and you're taking, statistics or something, and you want to put together a study group with a couple of your buddies, or you're needing to work on some Spanish vocabulary or something, you can use those tools and actually create your own study resources that you can then share within a group. So there's a lot available there, and whether you're a young child who's just working on some basic things, or a college student.
Yeah, my son is a little bit behind on his multiplication tables. He should have them all down and memorize, and he does not.
Shouldn't we all?
And I think this sort of happened. I think with a lot of kiddos with the pandemic, and just some of the, especially my son's math skill. He does not enjoy math. I was about to say he hates it. He doesn't really hate anything, but he just doesn't enjoy math. It's a little bit more difficult for him, hard for him to focus on it. He's much more of a talker and a thinker, and so words and reading and stuff's great for him. But anyway, I completely forgot flashcards in Help Now, because we're like, oh, we've got to, am I going to be handwriting flashcards for him, or or what am I going to?
There's probably already sets that exist within that system, and it's for free. You access it with your library card, and the nice thing is your child can sit and kind of work through that stuff on themselves, or you can sit shoulder to shoulder and work on things together.
Nice.
Great resource, and it's really worth spending some time exploring. I was talking to another parent, and they've got a kiddo who's a junior this year, and that means we're starting to think about colleges.
Sure.
And I hate to say it, way to put the pressure on, but when you're thinking about what are you going to do after high school, that starts in the fall of your junior year, and our Testing and Education Resource Center has some great tools to help kind of lay out and plan, because your child, it may be 4-year college they're looking at. They may be looking at something that's a 2-year or technical degree. They may be looking at vocational planning. It's not too early to start when they're in high school. There's a lot of resources there to kind of look at, like, what are you interested in, but also what's the path, and to start, there's some tools and timelines to help you, like, this is the time where you start thinking about the pathway and finding out about these different things. And it's a really great tool for parents because, again, it's, for some of us, it's been a minute since we were, 16 and a junior or 17 and a junior in high school and starting to think about, what am I going to do now once school is done? And it's really nice to be able to kind of say, well, here's a little roadmap that we can start to follow and have those conversations and facilitate that. And again, it's a free resource available, Testing and Education Resource Center. It's on our digital resources page. It's definitely worth the time. If you have a freshman in high school, start looking at it now.
Well, and if I recall, so we have that resource, but we also, I think Help Now also don't they have a parachute?
I think they might.
Component where it also kind of does a similar thing where you kind of explore what skills you have and what you like to do, and then you can kind of look at different careers. I think there's several. We have several.
There's several different tools like that. And then when it comes to just straight research papers and things like that, there's some really excellent resources. And I will always remember
we have Gale.
Oh, yes.
We have Gale with the elementary, middle school, and high school resources
really great tools there. And depending on what kind of research papers kids are starting to do. And I remember clearly, because when you're the child of a librarian, Mom has some standards for when it comes to research resources, and she was using something online, and I said, "Oh, you're using Wikipedia," and Wikipedia is a great place to start, right? If you just want to kind of get some background information, but it's not always the best source. And so she had been doing a report on, explorers or something for her social studies class. And I said, what are you using? And so I pointed her towards, I think, Biography Resource Center, which is where you can look up really great detailed biographies of a lot, and especially if you have someone you have to look up who's a little more obscure or less well known or doesn't have as many books written about them. It's a great resource to find really good articles and information about someone. And so I had pointed her towards a resource like that in World Book for her particular explorer, and she came back to me and she said, "Mom," it made my heart so happy. She said, "Mom, did you know that Wikipedia was wrong?"
Well, I mean,
yes, I did. I had a hunch.
It's a lot of people can just go in and change and edit, and it's a group project.
It is a group project, and so things get edited and then edited back, and they're verified and checked. But when it's actually published, there's a more stringent vetting process that goes on in things like World Book and Biography Resource Center, for example. We also have some science resources. Gail has some science topics. So as we think about science fairs happen, and so again, all of these things are available for free on our website. And of course, if you come into our library staff are a really great resource for students too when they're doing and looking for things. And if you're looking for help finding a good book for your kiddo to read, and you need recommendations for your kiddo who maybe is reluctant, or you're trying to help them expand their reading taste a little bit. They've kind of been in a niche for a while, and that's all well and good, but maybe you want to kind of expose them to some different kinds of genres and things like that. We are so excited. I think one of the things that makes me and many of most of my colleagues just why we show up every day with joy for what we do is helping to connect a kid with a book that they want to read. And it is what we live for. It's wonderful, and it's not a bother. Sometimes people are hesitating to ask for help from our staff for things like that, but that is our mostest favorite thing to do in the world, is to help a kiddo find a book that they want to read and are excited about reading.
Or even an adult. I think everybody should come up and ask for help at the library. So for example, I'm a parent, say I do know a lot about the library because I work here. But if I didn't, and I knew my son was having trouble with math, as we talked about, and I thought, I'll go to the library. You know what? If I don't, I might not know exactly which resource online to go to, I could walk in and ask for help. And they could find it for me, and even find me some books maybe, and get me the help I need. So they can get you the help you need and your kids need. So it's I don't hesitate to call or to walk in. And
no, our library staff are standing by.
They really are. That's why they're there.
That's why we're here. Yeah, absolutely.
Why you're there. While they're there. Yeah, everybody. So it's good to remember that. You don't just have to come in, get a book, and leave. You can
talk to us.
Talk to us all you want. So anyway, back to school. Yeah, it's a little bit sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and to get into the swing of things. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I think
it's a
I think
process.
this is going to be a good year.
Good. I hope
for
so.
my
I feel
kiddos.
good about it.
You feel good about it too?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, we hope that that you come to the library and learn about back-to-school resources.
Yeah, and get a library card.
Oh, for sure.
And check out our website.
Yes, SCLD.org. And, you click on locations to find the location that's nearest you if you haven't been in yet. And we can't wait to see you. So have a great school year.